Hey everyone, and welcome to the stream. My name is Kathy,
Hey everyone, my name is Ramesh.
and today we are going to be doing the Smith-Morra Gambit. Ramesh, do you play the Smith-Morra?
No, but I played against it before when I used to play E5 or C4. So yeah.
When you were white or black?
When I played against it when I was black.
So you
So like
played
there's
it.
two ways to play apparently.
Okay. But isn't it for okay? We'll see in the lesson. I'm a Sicilian player, so I see Smith-Morra all the time. And it was actually Ramesh's turn to pick the lesson, but he said I could pick it, and so I lost against the same person twice. He played the Smith-Morra, and after the first time we played on Tuesday, after the first time we played, I didn't play A6, which I'm not sure if we will talk about. But there's a line with A6 where you need to play A6 as black, and I didn't do it. After the game, he goes, "You need to play A6. Like this is at this point. Don't play like knight F6. Play A6." Then on Saturday, so less than a week later, we play again. Or is this Friday? So a few days later, we play, and it's the same thing, and I don't play A6. And he goes, "You have to play A6." And so when Ramesh was like, I don't care, you can pick the lesson, I was like, let's do Smith-Morra. Ramesh actually prepared the lesson, so that's why I have not yet seen if he does talk about A6 at all. But we will see. And then I have a nice game to go over. All right, Ramesh, what were you going to say?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Can you hear us?
C3,
okay, yeah.
I just saw people play like with D4. So yeah. Is my thing like showing? Like is it synced?
Your moves?
Yeah.
I see right now I'm on Smith-Morra Gambit introduction. E4 is the first move.
That's so weird because I don't know why it's not thinking.
It was thinking earlier. Where are you at? You tell me what you want me to move, and I will move it.
Okay. Cool.
That's all right. We'll get started with the start. We'll start with the introduction. Take it away.
Give me 1 second. Is it working?
Oh, I'm thinking now. Yeah.
Okay. So the Smith-Morra idea is to sacrifice pretty sure the D one of the pawns. I think it's the D pawn, and then you give this pawn and bring out your knight. So the idea is to sacrifice a pawn and hopefully get a chance to develop early and get attacking chances. So the three variations we'll cover is the Smith-Morra declined advanced variation, Smith-Morra scepter variation, and Smith-Morra elephant transposition. So we start with E4, C5, C3, then white plays D4. Sorry. So white plays D4. Oh my god, that's so bad. Okay, E4, C5, C3, knight F6. This is a Smith-Morra decline elephant variation. And another thing I found interesting is that you can play E4, C5, then they play D4.
Yep.
This is what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, me too.
C takes D4.
Yep.
Knight C3, G takes C3, and knight C3. This is called a Smith-Morra scepter.
Yep.
And instead of taking, if they play D3, this is called a declined advanced variation because they advanced.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So let's go over the advanced variation of Smith-Morra. Starts with E4, C5.
Oh,
D4.
sorry, pause. Right now my screen's on black perspective. Do you want me to switch it to white perspective for the viewers or keep it as black perspective? Okay, so
sorry, I can't.
I'm ready. No, you're good.
Cool. So yeah, start again. E4, C5, D4, C takes D4, C3. And here, instead of taking and letting white have the chances of the knight coming out and developing, black plays D3.
Yep.
So I thought this was an interesting move because, like, instead of playing any other moves like developing moves, like here and then maybe like trade, they want to play D3.
Yeah.
So I think the idea of black is to like waste white's time by making them play like bishop d3 or queen d3. And here the main
And
line.
also, I know, like for me, this pawn on c3, like the knight. I mean, one of the reasons I think it's white likes to play it is because the knight has a really great square on c3. But now you got a pawn stuck there, so now white's gonna have to figure out how to get that knight maneuvered. So it is a little bit annoying. Yeah. So keep going.
I mean, one knight maneuver I really like, and I tend to do is something like knight a3, and then knight goes back here. Back this or protect this, and maybe sometimes jump over here. That's one knight maneuver I really like.
Yeah.
And I tend to play sometimes.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, d3, and let's move bishop takes d3, knight c6, then f3, plays d6. So the idea is pretty simple. d6, you try to create a pawn structure and develop the bishop, target the knight. So castle, white can just avoid that because I think white can just somehow play knight over here. So this knight has the useful score to go to in the future. So bishop g4, we'll play h3. If they take, that's not bad for us because now we get our queen out. We're staring at the square, and there's definitely ideas where you put our bishop here or bishop here and try to attack this knight. So bishop h5, then we'll play bishop f4. Bishop f4, you might think like they can push this, but then they're just over pushing their pawn.
Yeah,
so
that d6 pawn gets really weak. Yeah. As a Sicilian player, I know.
So knight f6, knight b to g2. Now this queen isn't under pin anymore. And here, black's best idea would to be play like e6, because like we talked about, the d6 pawn is kind of weak. And obviously you don't want to try to play something like this because that traps your own bishop. You want to try to castle kingside. So queen b3 is I would say it's a good move because you're attacking the weak pawn, plus now the queen is out of the sight of the knight. So maybe eventually, if you really want to try, you can try something like this, or you can like put pressure here and then put your knight out here.
Right.
So yeah, queen c7. Defending this. This is I would say it's an interesting move because this bishop is now staring directly at your queen. So this pawn is already kind of getting weak. Some ideas you can have is probably even move your knight over here.
That's what I was about to ask about. Yeah, that looks okay. This
knight is what I'm worried about.
Could you play at this point? Wait, sorry. Okay, sorry. After white moves, because I was saying I was thinking, once your queen's there, pushing the e5 pawn as well. No, for black. So that's eventually. I know it's white to move, but that's an idea. I think if I was playing, maybe get my bishop out and then push the pawn, or get bishop out, castle, and push e5. That way to break the pin from the queen.
Obviously, it's not a bad idea. I don't know, like the structure now is kind of trapped. Your bishop is trapped within your own pieces. So, and you're not really creating a threat. Black can just go here or go here and try to look at this. So I don't know.
Well, I would say you need to get your bishop out first. I think that's and then if when you push it, then the bishop can come to g5, but your bishop's protecting. Or I mean, the bishop has a nice square on e3 as well. That's a pretty nice square. But at least it breaks this. That as an idea, that's what I would play. For black, I would be thinking about.
I mean, even if this happens, then white has the idea of going here and looking at the king. So interesting move from both sides.
All right, so what does white do? Rook fe1, okay. Is he frozen? Ramesh. Oh no. He was having some Wi-Fi issues earlier, so we'll see if he can join us. Unless it's no, I think I'm okay. All right, we'll give him a minute. I'm gonna remove him and bring it back. Okay. He's gone off. Okay, all right. Let's go. I can take this. All right. So rook fe1, and then like we said, the bishop e7. So that is what we talked about. That's what I would do as black. And then it looks like white is the one that pushes e5. So white does not let black get e5 in, which is something that I was trying to do. Okay, so we have, let's see, your knight is getting attacked. So if you don't take that pawn, you would have to move the knight, and then they could take your pawn there. Let's see. Yeah, I don't see anymore. All right. So it looks like black took the pawn, and then knight takes. This is if I was playing black, I'm just gonna like switch it real fast to the black perspective because I play Sicilian, and so for me, this is a little scary. Like you are in this pin right. You're in this pin right here. You're not castled. This knight is pretty solid piece in the center of the board. Again, king safety, like there's some threats here. This bishop, come back. So he might be back. Hey, you're back.
Oh. Yeah. I thought.
All right, I was taking over. Ago, so. Oops, sorry. Yeah. Say what?
Yeah, like I got here a minute ago and I didn't know what was happening. So.
Yep. So basically, I was just telling the viewers. I got to this part here. Yeah. So we got to we did the bishop e7, and then I said white played e5, so black did not get a chance to play e5. And then I was saying like you either had to take the pawn or move the knight. And so because like what if black went here? What would white do?
See, I don't think that should be an issue.
I don't know. Maybe
take this, and then bishop takes, or bishop takes, queen takes. Then you can take this, turning that.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Got it. Yeah.
Well, I guess you're not really turning. Yeah. This can be a little tricky.
No, this.
Oh, my bad. Is it queen trapped? No, right here. Yeah, this should be fine. What do you think?
Okay. All right. Well, white's up a pawn, so not good for black. I was thinking the bishop too, like here, like the bishop has some good spots to go to attack the knight and try to get another pawn. So, okay, so pretty much you got to take this pawn. And then I was saying as black, oh, hey, Starbucks, welcome. Woo! Thanks for joining us. Do you play the Smith-Morra? Let us know. And I was telling you, as black, like this is really scary. So I like flipped the board and I was like, this looks, the knight is in a great spot. Yeah. You're in this pin, or this like there could be an X-ray attack. You're F7 square. You're not castled, So I'd be a little.
Yeah, it's a little.
I wanted to check that. Yeah, plus 0.8 for white. Okay. Yeah, I was only say like white. I would say white has an advantage at this point. Okay, continue. I'll let you keep going.
Okay.
Sherman says no, they don't play. He doesn't play Smith-Morra. Okay, continue. Yeah.
He doesn't play. Okay. Knight takes e5, bishop d6.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Knight d to c4. So bishop takes.
Yeah.
Knight takes. Knight takes.
Rook takes.
You don't want to take this and show it to them. When rook takes, you can sacrifice the rook, discovery check, and try to win the queen.
Could you also take the bishop on h5 instead of?
Yeah, I was about to say some possible ideas are like moving the bishop here and maybe sacrificing, exchanging the knight, and once pawn takes, you can take this. Well, I guess the rook is hanging, right? Once you move the bishop here, the rook is hanging.
Well, what if you? Well, like it. I mean, depending, like, yeah. Okay.
That's not bad. You have to be careful because now this rook is hanging, and you want to look for other attacks like this weak pawn. So I would say have like ideas first, like different ideas, and then go for like simple trades, like taking here. Because once he takes here, it's still normal. I guess this pawn's hanging, but still iffy. So yeah.
All right.
Well, knight takes, rook takes c5, castle.
Yep.
Play b3. So the idea is still simple. We wanna like you were saying, you can even take the bishop, and now queen cannot take your bishop.
Yeah.
So queen d7.
Gotta move. Yep.
Bishop b5, attack the queen.
Yeah.
Queen e7.
Wait, can you go back and move? Yeah, no, keep going back. Yeah, right, go back one more. Yeah, why don't you just play then queen e7 right away if your bishop, you know what I mean? Like, why not just go there instead? Yeah.
Queen e7 is a interesting choice because I feel like the bishop can just go back here and target that. What do you think?
Could it do it though? Because like I would say like but like here, you can still do that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So you just gave
that.
like, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Black isn't doing much regardless what they play. I think here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Like.
So then.
Like I was about to say, even after here, you can probably temporarily sacrifice the bishop and then take this right here, leading an attack.
Or what if you go like right here?
No. Bishop takes.
Ah, you're right.
Yeah.
Delete. Okay.
So there's definitely ideas you can play. Maybe even put the bishop here and sacrifice it, I guess.
Yeah.
And if knight takes, then you can take this, threatening mate. So there's definitely a lot of ideas that can be played.
Yeah.
So yeah, queen d7, bishop b5, queen e7, rook e1, and rook a to d8.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say black is slightly better because how cramped the rook is.
Yeah.
Just because white has the bishop pair. So the bishop pair is always better, especially in like open file and areas like this, where you can have more control. So yeah, who would you play as?
No, I think white has a lot more space. Like I would prefer to be white here. There's also like black's pieces are kind of tied down. Like this pawn here is pretty weak. Yeah. And yeah, the pieces, you're right. Like the pieces are pretty cramped over here. And it feels like white has more chances to attack. So, yeah. All right, nice.
Okay, cool.
Starbucks asked, did you do your tournament in Akron? And if so, how did it go? I played in Akron in July. It didn't go great, but it was a lot of fun.
You're talking about the Joyun?
Joyun, yeah. I think I was like 1.5 out of 4. We withdrew, so I came up with 2 other people, and we all played pretty terribly. So we all withdrew the last round. I had a winning game my first game, and then it was kind of funny. So what happened was, I was up, I think 2 pawns, but it actually was more complicated than I thought it was going to be. And I had a rook and I think a knight, and I kept checking him, but then he was able to get his rook and knight and check me. Then he offered a draw, and I declined because I was like still up 2 pawns. And then I moved, instead of moving like A4, which would have been like the winning move, I moved A3, and then I got checkmated like 3 moves later. So it was like, oops. But I wasn't even mad because I was like, that was really good. Like he offered to draw, I said no, moved the wrong pawn move, and then he checkmated me with like a rook and knight trap. That was nice. And then I lost my next 2, I think. I forget. And then I was completely losing in one game against my friend, and then he made a mistake like at the very, 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 very end, and I like swindled him and got a draw out of it. But it was like completely winning. So it was like kind of, yeah, it was. I felt really bad, but he was like, yeah, that's what happened. So I swindled a draw out of that. And Ramesh was there too. We were actually in the same section. If I would have stayed my last round, we might have played each other. How did you do in the tournament?
When you talked about your first opponent, I played him the last match. I think he
Yeah.
was pretty strong. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. Interesting how you were 2 pawns up. You definitely had your chances. I drew that last round because I think he played London system, which I didn't have a proper repertoire for it. So I just used basic principles like develop, trade, attack.
Yeah.
If he's attacking, trade queens. So I got bored after a while, and I thought, I didn't want to take any risk and lose, and he didn't want to take any risk because his pieces were also tied up. So
Yeah.
we just settled down for a draw, and I was satisfied with it. I wasn't happy, but it got me
Was
through the
it
tournament.
like an interesting game, or was it a pretty boring draw? Because sometimes draws get really interesting, but was this
I
one
think it
like?
was interesting. I can show you
Yeah.
the game after this
Okay.
lesson.
Yeah. Sounds good. And then last weekend, Ramesh and I, we were doing, we hosted, so CCA hosted the Ohio State Championship, the Ohio Congress. And I thought it went really smoothly. It was really fun. We had about 130 people, and we have a new state champion, Arjun. So congrats to him. He's possibly the youngest player to become Ohio State champion, and also the only non-master, we think. So he did really, really well, 4.5 out of 5. So, and his rating jumped a lot from this tournament. So hopefully he will get master soon.
Yep. I think he's 12 years old.
Yeah, 13. Yeah, 13 years old.
Yeah, that's pretty young.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for asking, Strobux. All right. Yep. Number 2.
All right, let's go. So here, what Kathy was talking about, Sicilian, starts with E4. Ready?
Ready. I'm ready. Yeah. We're good.
E4, C5, D4. This is what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
C takes D4, then C3.
Yep. Yes.
And the idea is still the same. You want to sacrifice a pawn, and if you're an aggressive player, I feel like you would like Smith-Morra, even though it's not played in high level. Like if you're a tactical aggressive player and you don't mind giving up a pawn for attacking chances. So D takes C3, Knight takes C3, and this is the Smith-Morra accepted. Knight C6, Knight F3, E6, E6. I think the idea is to pin the knight over here. What do you think, Kathy? I don't.
Yeah, this is Rosen's game. So this is what he does. He plays E6. He though was saying he plays some interesting lines. He played E6 as well, and I think the bishop came out.
No.
Okay.
Bishop C4. Kathy was talking about A6.
A6, yeah.
A6. And here, since A6 is not a big threat, white can just castle.
And I think Eric Rosen was saying, or I don't know if it was Rosen, but I think my friend was saying like it prevents tricks on like the B5 square. So like either knight B5, I think knight B5 is pretty annoying.
Knight B5
bishop can come. Yeah. Gets ugly.
Yeah.
All right.
And the pawn can go up here in the future.
Yeah. So and then this is like the A6. I was like, okay, if I play Henry again, A6. Okay, continue.
B5, bishop B3, bishop B7. It's normal development. Queen E2. I think Queen E2 is good because the idea is to move the queen to E2 to protect this pawn, develop the queen, and then try to push the rook on the open file and attack the queen. So yeah, I feel like Queen E2 isn't bad. What do you think, Kathy? Any better moves?
Yeah, I think Rosen was saying, I forget exactly which square the queen goes to, Queen E2 or Queen C2. Maybe Queen E2. That it is common to get the queen out of off the D1 square. So yes,
well,
it seems like a
C2.
common.
I feel a little iffy because C2. Then
your bishop is a little yeah.
And then there's definitely tricks where you can even move the knight around here and mess around with it a little bit.
I like E2 better because when your bishop's on B3. Yeah. Okay.
So knight G to E7, bishop F4, aiming for the square right here, this diagonal. Knight G6, bishop G3, Bishop e7. Rook after d1, aiming for the queen.
Yep.
So here, queen cannot go here, or obviously the bishop can take it. So it's getting a little weird for the queen. But, black can just castle, rook a to c1.
Yep.
And then this is it. So
Yep.
I think this means like it's a little unclear, this scoring line. The reason why I say it's a little unclear is because white is down by a piece.
Uh-oh, he's gone. Ramesh, no! All right, we'll bring him back.
Can you hear
All
me?
right. Yes, we can hear you now. Okay, so the last thing we heard was white's down a pawn.
Okay, yeah. White's down a pawn, and like the reason why it's very unclear is white is down by a pawn, and white didn't really gain anything from that pawn, right? Like, if there was like some kind of controlling center or some kind of attacks that you don't need to plan out, like there's some kind of chances white can play, then I would give white has a better position. But to evaluate it, we can look at like how much space white has, the pawn structure, who's better, piece activity, material, and king position. So like king position, for example, where king is pretty safe, I would say white's king is more safer, just because of these two pieces and the queen. Let me see, pawn structure. There's no really isolated pawn. Whose pawn structure would you say is better?
I mean, I think I like white, like this, like I think the issues black has is one, like where their queen's gonna go, and then two, this pawn on d7 can be a target. It already has a rook onto it. So I think that's something that white might try to take advantage of. So black has to be careful. So I do think white has more space. And I think there might be enough compensation for the pawn, the lost, like the pawn that white is down to keep up the initiative. I'm going to switch on the engine real fast because I would say it's about equal. Oh, it says black is slightly better. Interesting. I guess that pawn in this scenario is I don't know. Gives the advantage to black. Oh, he's gone. No. Yeah. When I play, I was gonna actually look for my game against Henry that I played. I know I mentioned it before in the stream. I don't have it handy, but I was gonna say, oh, is he back? I usually play d6, and both in Rosen's game and in this game, it looks like e6 is an idea that I might have to, if I were to continue playing tournament games and take seriously, I might try e6. I might try to switch it up a little bit if my opponent, well, I guess e6 comes no, it comes after. So perhaps if my opponent played the Smith-Morra, then e6, I might try to do e6 instead. So that's something I might consider that I hadn't never thought about. But in Rosen's game, though, you have to be careful because there are some tricky lines in Smith-Morra playing e6. So I'm like, at first when I saw Rosen's game, I was like, oh, like I'll try it. And then seeing Ramesh's game, I'm like, okay. But then further I got along into Rosen's game, I was like, ooh, this is a little tricky. It's a little tricky.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can't see you yet, but we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with my camera. It's a little weird.
Okay.
So, cool. I'm just gonna turn it off for this stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go to the third one, the declined?
Yeah, let's go to the decline.
All right, let me switch it to white's perspective. Okay. All right, and I'm going to start it back at the beginning.
Okay, so decline, let's go. Starts with e4, c5, c3, knight f6. So here, in Smith-Morra, the idea is to always push d4, right? But in this variation, black wants to try to prevent white from pushing d4.
Mhm.
So the whole game is going to be between like trying to push d4 and black stopping d4. So e5
Yeah.
happens, knight d5, then d4 happens.
Uh-huh.
C takes d4.
Mhm.
C takes d4. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Then
So, wait, are you back?
Yeah.
Okay.
so yeah, C takes d4, d6, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4. So yeah, attacking the knight and developing bishop, maybe even looking at f7.
Wait, I'm gonna pause here. I want to see the evaluation. This looks, see, it says equal, but I would hate this as black. It's like your knight just gets thrown around.
Yeah, your knight is getting thrown around. And
I don't like that.
d4. So
I know.
yeah,
and there's
very
like,
interesting.
there's knight g5. Oh my goodness. All right, continue.
Yeah.
I would not like to play this variation as black.
Yep.
But
b6.
it's their own. Yeah.
Bishop b5. D takes e4. Knight takes e4. Bishop d7. Knight takes d7. Queen d7. So since the center is very open and clear, I feel like it's good to keep our bishop and force that pin that we have right now.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. So let's go. Queen d7. We can just castle. They play e6 to develop their bishop. Play knight c3. Bishop e7. Queen g4. So queen g4 is a natural development, but instead of moving anywhere, we decide to move queen g4 because we want to aim for the square. We have checkmating ideas with bishop h6, and we're still protecting this right here. So that's why there's a lot of ideas with queen g4.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say black needs a castle.
Yeah, here, the castle.
Okay. Yep.
And now we can play bishop takes c6 to get rid of this pressure.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Because, yeah, when we have isolated pawn, we want to try to get rid of the opponent's minor piece and try to take it to the end game.
Yeah.
So that's usually the rule for when you have an isolated pawn. So b takes c6, play bishop h6. Here it might look a little scary, but black can deal with bishop
Yeah,
f6.
bishop f6 is fine, right? Yeah, okay. Now
So-
the knight can come. Wait, can the knight come in? Oh no.
Knight
well,
can
the
come
knight
in,
comes-
but
then the pawn's hanging. Like
Well-
the pawn, yeah.
no, I don't think that matters.
No,
Let me see.
because the queen can take the pawn, right?
Yeah, queen can take the pawn. Even the bishop can take the pawn, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Because you're still protecting
knight is a little
d7.
iffy.
Yeah. So maybe go. Yeah, move your rook to protect the pawn.
Yep. Rook h,
Yeah.
rook up to d1, king h8.
Yeah. There we go. Yes.
Uh,
Okay.
That pin.
Yep.
Knight e4.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there's a knight.
Yeah, I would say this is an interesting move because it looks like you're giving up the pawn. But like if they take, I thought I made it. Yeah, if they take it, then you just take with bishop takes g7 check.
Oh.
Yeah, if they take, then the queen is hanging. Yep.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And discovery check and mate into.
Yep.
So that's why the knight e4 is a very interesting move.
Yeah.
Which black has a forcing move, and they have to play bishop e7. You can simply play bishop g5.
Yep.
Bishop takes g5. Queen takes g5. Queen takes g5. Knight takes g5. And then black can play h6. And here, knight f3. I would say white is slightly better because of this isolated pawn that they can attack. And although we also have an isolated pawn, our knight is covering it. Where this isolated pawn, it's going to be tough to cover just because knight can always jump here and create little ideas with here or here if this pawn is in here, and also attack here. So I feel like our knight is way more active than the opponent's knight.
Yeah.
What do you think over here? Where would you
Yeah, I feel like I would guess it would be roughly equal, but maybe a slight advantage to white. Like maybe but very little, like 0.5 or 0.6. Okay, I'm gonna toggle it in. Okay, 0.3, yeah. So it was like about equal. I think it really depends, I think, on the skills of the players moving forward and what happens. Because again, I think the game could go either way or be a draw, but white might have a little bit more of an advantage. Again, like you said, having I like the knight position, but black has some things too they can do. So and then black just have to be careful with this c6 pawn. So looks about equal, but I think white could have a little bit more chances.
Yeah, I definitely feel like white can with the knight jumping here and maybe the rook going here, connect the rooks. This pawn looks like it can fall any moment, at least in my eyes. So
yeah,
you can even have some interesting ideas like pushing your A pawn and forcing the knight to get out of here, so you can put your knight here in the future. So yeah, there's definitely ideas that can be played by white. So yeah, let's go see your game now.
All right, sure. So this was in the Reykjavik Open in 2023 by Garbuz and Rosen, and I think Garbuz is around like 2100. And Rosen's an IM. And it starts off, so this is from black's perspective. So Rosen was white. Rosen was black. And
Who's
white
Rosen? Eric Rosen or?
Eric Rosen, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so here he does the queen's, or the Smith-Morra Gambit accepted. So he takes it, knight comes out, knight comes here, and then he plays, like you said, he plays e6. And bishop c4, and then he said that he spent, because he I think knew that he did some prep, and I think he said he knew, like he studied the night before, he studied this line because he felt that his opponent was going to play Smith-Morra on him. So he's like, okay, like I'm gonna prep. And he said he remembered watching a video, I think it was by some like Australian grandmaster, and basically he said like it was for white, but he's like, oh, the most annoying line is bishop b4. And so that's what he ended up playing, was bishop b4, because he was like, oh, this is going to be annoying. He said normally what happened, and I think we had this here, queen c7, he said normally is what black plays, and then castle, then knight f6. So no a6 business, but you'll see what happens here. So then queen e2, and so this is the e2 I mentioned earlier.
Yep.
And then he said knight g4 can get a little tricky. Because if he plays h3, which is incorrect, then the knight can come to d4, and you either win a.
Do you think it's a queen or a checkmate? Yeah.
Yeah. And so, so you don't want to play h3 here, but this could go into a different line, or you could do knight f6, and then knight b5 here. And then white then it's Eric Rosen said he didn't want to go into this line because this was not really fun.
Yeah, it's a little messy
for black, and like kind of like we saw, like this knight having to like hop around everywhere.
I mean, there's definitely ideas where knight can go over here.
Yeah.
What do you think? If the bishop comes over here, you push your pawn here.
Whoa. It's not how I would play, but yeah, maybe. Yeah, sure. Ooh. I don't know. I wouldn't do that.
Like maybe here and then start pushing this pawn.
It's just too aggressive for me. King safety, yo. I don't know. Also, but this knight can, I guess the knight can't come there. Oh, I know one thing he was saying was like
I forgot
trading this off. Yeah. So that was one thing, but yeah,
I forgot about that night.
Yeah. So the Rosen wanted to avoid all that, so he played bishop b4, and he said that his opponent castled, which was expected. He played knight e7. I think he was saying, I'm seeing here, I think maybe knight d5 or queen to one of these squares here. I can't remember what those arrows mean. Let's see if we can decode that. So he's saying,
sorry, you kind of lagged out.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to remember why I drew these arrows. I'm not sure if you have any idea here too.
I mean, maybe the idea is still the same, like where the queen can move, so they can develop the rook. What do you think?
Yeah,
Sacrificing the
maybe.
knight, I don't really see a point right now.
I don't think it's sacrifice the knight, but I think also to prevent the e5 pawn. So anyway, we can keep going.
Wait. I think I kind of see that. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So queen goes here.
Uh-huh.
So they play a wasting move. Then you can put the knight here. Takes. Goes here maybe. I don't know. I forgot
he didn't
about
discuss this. Yeah, he didn't discuss it.
This knight is pinned, so that's what I'm thinking about. Maybe after here, you put this here and start trying to mess around with it. You have to somehow get. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a little weird. This bishop is always lying down. And
Oops, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think. Yeah, I don't remember him saying something about sacking the knight, but I think maybe instead of play like for knight f6, not having to get it pushed around. But I remember he did say though he did not expect his opponent to play knight b5, so that like he missed, and he was like, like this is interesting. I think maybe I drew the arrows because he thought that eventually, because like the knight normally comes to d5 eventually, but here he was like, oh, like, and so this square you have to be very careful on. And here he was said instead of playing, this is one thing that he was looking into. So again, the move that White actually played was knight b5, which was unexpected, but this is maybe what I drew the arrows for. So queen to e2 and then a6. Oh yeah, this is what we just looked at this. That's what you did. That's what you did. Okay, sorry, you were the one who did that. Okay. So anyway, so Rosen then said, okay, well, I'm going to play d5, which was like the correct move. And then things get really tricky because his square on c7 is very, very weak. It has been exposed by playing d5, but his bishop is hanging. So he's like, okay, I'm just going to castle, and instead of moving my rook, I'm going to play knight g6 because now he's attacking two pieces here. So I liked one of the things that was really fun to watch was there were some moves that I feel like weren't it was, how to say, it's like at like my level, when I play, I like the first thing is like when I see something getting attacked, I'm like, okay, like what can I do to like get it unattacked, or what are some things I could do to block the attack? But it takes me longer to figure out or to think about if I do at all of like counterattacks. And like in this case, it seems, how do I say this? Like this one, I feel like, this was the move I might consider because again, it's not, you have two pieces that are hanging right here. But I think, when you're at Rosen's level, it's just something that's like automatic versus like the first, having to go through all the options to be like, oh wait, maybe I can get away with this. The next move too, I think also. So instead of taking the rook, he moves back and then he takes the bishop here.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
black should be good right now.
Yeah, Rosen was okay. Yeah, and he actually said there was one move in particular of like the reason why he went through with this line because he calculated pretty deep. And so I'm gonna take this off here so you can see this. So it takes. Okay, and then I think this is the move where Rosen's like he gave up the rook for a bishop and a pawn because of this next move. Let's see if you can find it. Don't look at the sides.
So he made a mistake. Is that what you want me to find?
No, he played a what would you do as black in this situation?
Oh, as black. All interesting. I don't know. This is tough.
Yeah, this is a move I would not see at all. Like, but this is the reason why he went through this line. Like, this next move was like, this is.
I would say, E5.
E5, almost. He played F5.
Oh yeah, that traps the bishop. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like I mean, like the
But
knight's
what if
protecting if he moves.
takes?
Yeah. He did take.
Okay.
Okay, takes. I mean, you're still threatening F5 because he wants to trap this knight. Like, yeah, so that's like his kind of his goal here. But yeah, that's the whole reason he played this line. And so then White started to do and also important to note too, White gets into really, really bad time pressure here. He said he spent like 20 to 30 minutes on this move and then 20 to 30 minutes on this move. So he was down to like 2 minutes until they made time control, I think at 40 moves. And so White's in pretty bad trouble. So he attacks, and then Black's like, that's fine. I'm going to try to put my bishop on f6, attack this diagonal. And White plays bishop c7 to attack the rook. And then White kind of maneuvers their pieces to like better them. So rook to e1. And then the king came up to protect the pieces. And then Rosen said this was also a move that he I don't know if he overlooked, but I don't think he spent a ton of time considering, because he realized at this point that he's going to have to trade off a bunch of stuff because that's like the only really way to move past.
Okay.
And he did not want to do that, but he ended up trading like a whole bunch of stuff. So everything is kind of traded here. And then bishop f6, which is where he wanted, and then the rooks trade. And so now Rosen has the two bishops and an extra pawn for the knight and the rook. And actually Rosen was saying he felt fine here. He was like, I think I'm doing fine. I'm going to try to trap this knight. But White plays pretty well. And so one thing he was considering was playing c3. But then there were some issues with check, move up, and then you get then the bishop and the bishop and the pawn are forked, and then after this here, I think you're going to lose that pawn. And so Rosen was like, this isn't great. Because like White can take the bishop and then take the pawn. So instead, that's why he instead of playing c3, he played king d7 and just gave up this pawn.
I don't know. This is interesting. Black, I would be a little scared to play. Just because I don't know, the odds doesn't look so good. Like I wouldn't be able to calculate all that.
It is pretty scary. And I think I want to say at this point though is like still so White's up plus 0.6. Rosen does play a little bit or 0.7. But he still has ideas though. So he said he moved bishop e5 to hit the c7 square where the knight is, and then his idea is to push b5 and then bishop b7 to win the knight. But White plays really well, so White defends very, very nicely. So the first thing is White attacks the bishop on e5, and then Rosen moves his bishop back to where it was before.
Why can't the bishop go back to d6?
Here, d6 right here. You lose the pawn.
That should be fine, right? Maybe you move the. Oh yeah, it is a little tricky.
Yeah, I done 3 pawns.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I can't risk my.
Yeah, it was hard. So then,
White losing pawns.
Yeah, White plays rook a5 to attack the a7 square, and Rosen actually doesn't discuss this in his video, but I thought like, well, why not just take the b2 square? And I think that's fine. The engine said that was fine. And you like trade pawns, so I think that's okay. But Rosen didn't play that. Instead, he played, and he didn't really discuss it, but he played king c6 to give up the pawn. And then he takes this pawn after, and then white plays a4. The bishop comes to attack the rook. Rook a5, attacking, or I guess it's not really attacking the pawn. And so Rosen is trying to eye the a4 pawn. Rosen wants both the knight and the a4 pawn. And the rook is how do I say this? So yeah, the rook moves to b5, which was, I mean, I guess there were other moves, but there weren't a ton, you know.
Let me guess, king to b7 now or no?
No,
that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. He would just
no.
sacrifice the. Yeah, he would just sacrifice the knight. The bishop takes, then the pawn gets pushed. So yeah, that wouldn't work.
Yeah. So let's see that. So you said if he moves here, then the knight takes.
The knight gets sacrificed. The bishop takes, and then
you lose.
No, you just pin the
push it.
Yeah.
So another thing he was considering was moving, instead of moving the king, he was going to move the bishop here. But it's the same. It's the same thing.
Is it?
Or it's not the same thing, but you lose this pawn. That's the pawn. Yeah. So you can't do that either.
I would rather lose that pawn than play against a knight and a rook.
But you're already down 2 pawns. So Rosen plays g6. So now he can play b7.
Now, yeah, he can play b7.
And so h4, and now bishop b7. Yep. And then takes, and then h5. And this is also, this sequence also gets really tricky here. This was just a really, I don't know, I really enjoyed this game because there were so many intricacies here. So, because if you don't want to take, because then you lose the pawn. You have double pawns, and you're going to lose a pawn on f5. So instead, Rosen plays bishop c7.
Yep, stopping the king.
And then g3, and then now bishop a6. But again, as a player at my level, I would just like immediately move the rook, and that's what Rosen expected too. Rosen's like, he has to move the rook off of the 5th rank. Okay, but I'm gonna unshow this. Yeah, what would you do, Ramesh? What is a tricky move you can do?
I'm sorry?
Oh yeah, so it's your turn.
Has white?
Black, yeah, white to move.
Honestly, I think I would be happily sacrificing the knight. I mean, sorry, sacrificing the rook. Sorry. I'm just trying to calculate the pawn.
Yeah, that pawn, yeah.
Let me see. Takes, takes. Maybe push. Oh, yeah, you would take that. Yep.
Take first, yep.
And then now you can do a push. Yep.
Now you can do a push. Yep, that's correct. So Rosen's like, I can't even take this rook. So he's like, it's a pretty good move. So then he had to take the pawn. So now he has 2 pawns. And he said that there was a similar game against Magnus and Karyakin where it was, I think they had like 2 pawns each, and they had, I think Magnus had the 2 bishops, and Karyakin had a rook and a pawn, and a pawn on a pawn on the opposite side, where their rook was. And I want to say he said Magnus won, but it was like one of the rapid games. Or I don't know if he won, but it was one of the rapid games, he said, in the World Championship. Anyway, Rosen said that his idea was to get the g-pawn to g4 and the bishop on a6. He wanted to reroute it on e4 to get his pieces more, to get them more working together. And so the rest of the game, I think, is just to show like Rosen's strength of how he has like every stage of the game he has a plan, and he just worked slowly to get that plan in place. And it seemed like, from my perspective, White did a lot of like waiting moves or like wasting moves. Again, White was in pretty bad time pressure, so like, but he actually does like a really White did a really nice job up until like the very end. But you could just see. you could just see, but you could just see Rosen's like just how he is able to complete his plans. So that's why I really did enjoy this game, is because it's like, okay, here's my plan, and then like here's how I got there.
Yep.
So he pushes his pawn, and then you'll see some moves. So black moves his king up, white moves his king up, rook comes back. Now the bishop moves to where he wants it to be on e4. So part one, king moves back. Now the pawn is in g4, which is what he just said. Rook moves up, and then bishop comes to a5. Rook comes down, bishop comes to d4, slowly getting to that e4 square. King moves over, king comes down, rook comes up, and then now Rosen's where he's at. He wants to be. Okay, so stage one complete. Yeah. Okay, king comes back, and then now Rosen has plan number 2. So that was his first plan of the pawn to g4, bishop e4. Now Rosen says, my next goal is to move that bishop on c3 to b6, so my king can swing around and eat the pawn and capture the pawn on a4. So here we go. Plan number 2. Rook comes down, bishop comes over, rook comes down, bishop. Now the pawn's on b6. King moves over, king moves down, rook moves over, king moves over, rook moves over.
Oh yeah. The bishop has covered it. Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. It does get a little tricky though. So Rosen's like, he didn't really it gets kind of tricky. In a few moves. Okay, so now he's here, but then Rosen's like, well, I can't take the pawn yet because rook can come to c4 and fork his king and his bishop, lose his bishop. So instead he moves back. And then again, he can't take the pawn because he'll lose his bishop. So he moves here. And then the rook can come over here. And you still can't take the pawn because then rook a2 skewers the king to the bishop, lose the bishop. So then bishop comes over here. Rook comes here. And now finally, the king can take the pawn because the rook can't check and get the bishop now. So plan complete. He won the pawn. Okay. All right, continuing. I want to say, because he does have another plan, and I think it's coming up here. He wants to get, here it goes. So here's his next plan. So plan number 3. And I learned how to do the red arrows and the blue arrows and the green arrows. Okay. So yes, he wants to get his king over to e2 and his bishop over there as well, so that he can take his bishop to d3, his king to e2, and then the bishop is also eyeing the f2 square, so then he'll be able to take that pawn. So
he doesn't want to settle for a draw, right? He doesn't care.
No, he's like, he even before, like moves before, he said, I think I'm better, I think I can win this game. So even like way up in moves. I mean, also his opponent is in really bad time pressure for the entire game, pretty much. And so I think that also adds to Rosen's confidence of like, not only do I think my position's better, but I think he's going to blunder in time pressure. So that's his plan number 3. So we can just see his bishops, he improves his position. He's constantly improving his position. So his bishops are getting closer. His king's getting closer. His bishops are coming. His king's coming. Blocking the files here. There's a lot of just bishop and king moves. He's hoping to also, there's some points where he's hoping like his opponent will blunder, get pinned in some spots. But his opponent plays really, really well. And even here, I think it's about equal here. So even though like I really like what Rosen is doing, they say with perfect play, it's still white can hold the draw. It's not completely winning for black. Because the work is very tricky. You can see the plan, it takes like 10, 15 moves to complete just because of the squares that the rook is preventing black from going. But finally, the kings and the bishops come close enough where Rosen can now get his king over to e1. So that's what he does. And then the bishop comes to d4 in order to attack the pawn on f2. However, Rosen says that so at this point is finally move 77 is where his opponent makes a blunder. The correct play would have just been to keep the rook on this file, because if you take here on f2, rook can come to e5, and there's no way you can protect the pawn on f5.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but instead, his opponent played rook h6, which was also tricky. So, Ramesh, if I take the pawn right away, what would you do as white? So if I take the pawn, what would you do as white?
I don't know. I feel like rook h1 should just be winning a bishop, right?
Yeah, it does win a bishop. And so the engine said that it's actually, engine said it's actually still equal here. Sorry, if I go here, okay, here, and then takes again, sorry, here. They said the engine said is still equal.
Well, yeah,
Rosen
because
said
that rook isn't really doing much, right? The two pawns are kind of stacked on the light square, plus you have a light square bishop, so
yeah.
I feel like Rosen is doing pretty well. It should be a draw, if not black definitely has chance.
Yeah. So instead, Rosen saw that and checked the king first. And after this, there are some other moves that like there are other like white could have gone king to h2, but this is already, you know, by this point when white played rook h6, it was just it was lost for white, and then this just leads to checkmate.
Right? Soon enough.
Yeah.
This is sad.
So anyway, but I thought it was I thought this game was very, very interesting. And Rosen said too, he was out of book after this. So he'd studied this, and after this is the move where the knight b5, I think, is where he like became out of book and was like, well, all right. Let's see, because he looked at here, and then I think here he was like, all right, well. Oh yeah, I think the he was expecting one of the queen moves, I think. So yep. But that's the game. Yeah. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I think Rosen played quite well. Like, he was very accurate with his bishop, and I feel like he was very confident, which made him win the game. Like, I personally wouldn't take a risk like that.
Yeah.
Even after losing the bishop, when he said he's fine, I would say it's more drawish. So, yeah, I don't know.
Cool. All right, you ready to do some challenges with the Smith-Morra?
Yeah.
All right, do you want to be white or black? And also, viewers, if you want to challenge us too, let us know. We are practicing what we just learned.
It doesn't matter.
All right.
We can do whatever.
All right. We'll see if the users want, or if the viewers want to say anything. But for now, do you want to be white or black?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, let's see what the computer wants. We'll do 3 + 2.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let's see who's going to play Smith-Morra first. All right, I'm playing Smith-Morra. Ready, go. You have to play c5. Very good. Okay. Oop, I can't do that. Okay, we'll do this variation. It's dumb. All right. That's fine. All right. Make sure it's A6. Who plays A6? All right, got it. It's okay. I'm definitely going to win this game. Go here? Can I go here? Here. Or I'll move it here instead. Right over here. Interesting. Hmm. Okay. All right. Um.
Do 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 do.
Okay, what if I go here? Okay. What's your bishop doing on c8? Nothing. That's what it's doing.
Definitely.
I might make moon trap somewhere. It's gonna be bad. All right, that's fine. We're doing fine here. Trade the knights or no? This is dangerous.
We should.
Wait, I got an idea. Okay. All right, here we go. This is GG here. All right, sorry. All right. Did you move? Is it my turn? No.
Yeah, move.
Okay, I see what you're trying to do. We'll go here. Wait, oh no! Boo, I should have done something else. It's okay, no takebacks. That was dumb though. Yes, there we go. That's what I wanted to do. Ah. Okay, that's what I thought you were gonna do. But I think I can go here now. Maybe go here first. Ooh, all right. I definitely, my rook was hanging there, so.
No, I saw that. It's not really hanging. I would lose a piece, right?
No, it was a free rook on c1.
No? C1? Oh, or that?
Yeah. We're okay though.
Yeah, yeah.
We're okay. We're okay.
Cool.
Is it my turn?
Hmm?
All right. All right. Yeah, I thought you were gonna do that. Yeah.
This is very interesting.
Ugh, I'm running out of time. No. No, don't cheat. Stop. All right. Here, take here. All right, I'll just take you. Wait, what if I go here? What? Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Take. Hmm. Oh, that was a nice move. I think. Ooh. Good game. All right. Are you with us? Hello? Hello? Ramesh? He's in the zone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. You just don't want to talk? All right, it's fine. All right. Well, you got to play one more. Okay. That was a nice checkmate, though. This is pretty good. All right. I wasn't paying attention. Okay, here we go. Smith-Morra, Smith-Morra, Smith-Morra. deciding which Smith-Morra he wants to do. But I'm going to take here. I am, though. I'm going to play e6. We're going to try this. I don't know what to do here. Hold at this. Okay. Over here. Wait, do I want to take it? Take. I think I will, actually. Isolate this pawn. Can I just... I'm going to push here. We'll just go here. Take. Oh, was that? No, I was like, wait, was that bishop being slow down? Here? I'm nervous. I'm gonna get mated. Take. What am I gonna do from here? I forgot I can't. I wanted to do takes, but that won't work. Is there any other traps? Can I go here? Ah! Bishop. I resign. I didn't even know you were gone. Like you were off
Can you hear
screen.
me or no?
Now I can, yeah. That was
Okay.
bad. I don't want to look at that game.
One more.
I was doing
One
good. I liked my position for a while, and then I blundered
One
one more. Ugh. I was doing well in both games, I think, and then I did bad. All right. Do you want to be white or black?
I'll be white again. I need to work on my attacking skills.
Okay. Hold on. Let me challenge you. Rematch, but then you might be. You want to be white though?
Here, I'll resign.
Okay, cool. There it goes.
There we go.
All right, good games, by the way. All right, here we go. Ooh. Ooh. All right, I'm practicing E6. I forget if I play E6 first or I play my knight first. We'll do knight first. No, play E6. Oh, do this again.
Fine, whatever.
Do this again.
You shouldn't have said your bishop. I wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah. But it took me a while to like. I said that right away, and then it took you a while to take it anyway. So I was like,
Well, I thought it was some kind of trap. You're just saying it, you know.
Oh yeah. Of course. This is the same game we played. Okay. This is different. What? Interesting. Moving my queen, but where to move her? Here. We'll go here, and we'll see what happens. Can I go here? Here. Let's go here. Whoa, wow. Very, very fast there. What's being attacked? Stuff? I don't know. Am I attacking anything? Maybe? Potentially? Maybe I'll go here. Huh. You're threatening checkmate. I see that. Threatening checkmate. Sure. If I push my pawn 1, you take with check. I don't know if anything can like come back in time. Can anything come back in time? Everything looks pretty bad. I guess I'll go here. Huh. Okay. Knight. Here. Here.
Interesting.
Takes the pawn, threatening this here. Okay. My queen's being threatened too. Wait, how long have I been attacking my queen for? Interesting. I didn't realize I was being attacked. But I must be careful with the mate. Do I have to trade queens?
You saw that. Okay. Let's try that. Try this. Let's try this.
Yeah. Oop. This is bad news. All right, we're just gonna resign here. Good game. I don't even want to play this out. It's just demoralizing.
I want to analyze this. I feel like I was winning with their queen there. I could have just taken the pawn, right? Nah.
Oh, here, I'll sit it back here. Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah.
Or can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Enter window. Let's go select this one. Let's tweet this. Okay. Now what's this board? I don't know. Somewhere around here, maybe. I thought I was winning. Yeah, it's whatever.
Ooh, we're winning by a lot.
Here.
Yeah.
Mate in 9. Can we?
Wow. That's great.
Queen
What
G4
you
found that. And
Yeah.
H6 check. Take right. Bishop takes. Okay. Bishop takes C4. Oh.
Wow.
What? Bishop takes C4.
What?
Bishop takes C4. Yeah. Queen B7. Queen takes B7. Is this B7?
That's equal?
No. Oh, this bishop was hanging. Oh, interesting.
Oh.
So once you play king to G7, this would have been fine.
Oh yeah, I guess we're equal
position
material.
like
Yeah,
this. I feel like this
interesting.
would be trash, so
Yeah. I felt like I was losing pretty bad.
What do you think?
Anyway, good games.
Right here was pretty
Oh, sorry. I took you off.
good game.
Yeah.
Stop sharing. Yep, good
All right,
game.
well,
Had fun with
yeah.
you.
That was the Smith-Morra Gambit. Ramesh, you can pick next week too if you want. Since I played 2 weeks in a row. But you don't have to do it right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Continued. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Also, congrats to Ramesh for getting first in his quad on Friday.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Did your rating go up? Is it rated yet?
I don't know. I mean, the section was kind of weak, so I'm not like too happy about it.
Yeah.
Like, if I was placed in like 16, 1700, if I had a couple of draws, like I would be okay. Like a 700, 1350, and then a 1500. I don't. Oh, it is published.
Okay, what is it now?
1513. That's not too bad.
Yay!
Okay.
Congrats! Back up to 1500, on your way to 1600, then 1800. So one day.
One day.
Yep. Cool. All right, we're gonna go raid Innate Optimus. Innate Optimus came to the Congress and played and streamed her games. So please enjoy. We will see you later. Bye.
Bye.